I was more of a people pleaser, and I'd try to get everyone to like me. But I realized that that's not what your relationship with others should be. Like, it should be respecting them and them respecting you. You're confident towards them, and they kind of like fear you, like in a good way almost, because then they don't step over a boundary that you can set. My attitude changed, like almost everything really, and like cut off some people I'm not like friends with anymore, and I can really like see that change in my life.
Hello, everyone. Today we have Dylan Brown. He's an 11th grader from Los Altos High School in California. He excels academically. He has a lot of soft skills. He does ballet, beatboxing, and he is a very extroverted individual who is also a leader. I think you guys are going to really enjoy listening to this podcast. Stick around. All right. Okay. How are you doing, Dylan?
I went into junior year, so a lot of schoolwork, but I'm more on the like mental side. I feel like I've really kind of pushed myself as a person almost, because like kind of like just since the UCI program, I've kind of like learned to respect myself more. And so I can always see that going to school and ballet, which I've been doing a lot more of. And I've definitely been pursuing more of my like beatboxing ballet side, because I really enjoy those aspects, and I feel like they could really help me as a person as well.
Okay, so let's start with you growing as a person. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Like from UCI?
Overall.
Overall. Okay, so I think it really started from UCI, from the UCI Yeti, and kind of just learning like who I am as well, because like I kind of figured out who, like with our talks, like we would always talk about these stuff, and learning like what respect really meant, like because before the program, I was really I was more of a people pleaser, and I'd try to get everyone to like me, but I realized that that's kind of not what people should be, what your relationship with others should be. Like, it should be respecting them and them respecting you, which is not just having them like you, but also having like they like they're confident, you're confident towards them, and they kind of like fear you, but in like in a good way almost, because then they don't step over a boundary that you can set. And I can definitely see that going into school and stuff, because a lot more people, I think like my attitude changed, like almost everything really. And I like cut off some people I'm not like friends with anymore. And I can really like see that change in my life.
I think speaking about respect, it's a very, very interesting topic, because at least what I've learned about respect is that it's a balance between love and fear. You want to make people love you. You want to make people like you do things, and so part of it is people pleasing, but to a point, right?
Yeah.
And the fear part is what most people, and I assume you, struggled a little bit to understand and to comprehend and apply into your life. One thing I think that you've definitely done is competence. You've become a more competent person, and you like not only have you become one, you show yourself as one, and that's the reason why people respect you more, because they I don't want to say fear your competence, but I guess that's what I mean, fear your competence. So I think like it's a really good thing. I wanted to ask you, I guess how specifically, what did you do to make people respect you? Do you know? Can you think of
I
anything?
think it was more that I started to respect myself, because like me respecting myself, I can show like who I am, and I know that I'm like a worthy person. Like, I can like be able to get these people's respect. And if I can respect myself enough to realize who I don't think is like mature enough around me, I can kind of put myself around these more mature people who will, first of all, understand how to respect someone and respect themselves like I am. But then also, me respecting myself, they respect me, because I kind of have that more mature, more like understanding like attitude, I feel like, towards like problems and stuff. And so I feel like that also really helps. And it's a big problem as well, because I'm pretty like goofy in person. Like, I'm not like super serious and super like what people would call mature. But I feel like finding that fine line between maturity and like being myself kind of was kind of hard, but I think I got it.
So speaking of, I guess, like a little goofy mature, that's one of the things that I've been trying to learn, and I believe I have learned throughout the camp. I think I mentioned to you, but what happened is I've always been kind of a goofy, fun guy, the guy who likes to screw around. And the problem with that is that people don't respect you, because it is somewhat similar to people pleasing, but in a different way. the yeah. And I've learned like and overall like while growing up, I try to get rid of that kind of not be goofy, not immature, this kind of stuff. But I've seen this when I went to the camp, I saw David, and David was perfect because this guy was goofy, but everyone respected him, everyone feared him, and he could be as goofy as you want, he could be as fun as you want, and that's why everyone loved him. And I watch his actions, I watch how he, even though he screws around, even though he messes around, he still shows himself as a very competent, very capable, and very like the kind of person you desire to become. And I believe that is something that I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to kind of incorporate into my character because I can still have this goofy side of me, something that I don't like, this part of me that I don't resent anymore, this part of me that I realize, hey, it could be used to connect with people and to be more charismatic. So I add that with this kind of competence, with this kind of becoming the kind of person people desire to be. And I'm trying to learn my own, I guess, charisma and learn my own way to get respect through that. Um, Something else I actually wanted to, I mean, you mentioned a lot in your introduction, but talk to me about ballet. Your whole journey about ballet, how did you start and where you are now?
Okay, so I was born in London, and we lived straight down the street from the theater, and so my mom would always take me, and we'd go see like I don't know, like Thomas Tank Engine in the play, and then but some days I'd see like a ballet, like I think it was like the Snowman, which was the first one, and the main character was this boy, and they had like a string attached to him, and you'd fly and do like ballet and cool stuff, and so I was really interested. So my mom was like, "You want to do ballet?" And I'm like, "Sure." So in London, she took me to go do ballet. And so I enjoyed it. I did ballet for like 6 months, and then I moved to America. And when I got here, I was like really nervous because the ballet school I went to in London was for all boys, and so I can connect better with boys, especially at a young age. And going into America, and I was around like 9. I didn't want to do ballet like just with only girls because like it's a little like just being the only guy. And so it took me like 2 years till I actually started ballet again, um, with all girls, and I enjoyed it. I wasn't like very good at all, but I enjoyed myself. I then moved to I kept moving studios until I found one that I'm in right now, and it was a struggle, but I mean, I think I just really enjoyed it because I could kind of like I've always liked music. I've always liked dancing, and I think ballet just having like that much structure has always been pretty good.
Okay. Um, what do you do now for ballet, and what are the next steps? Is this
Um,
something that you want to pursue professionally, something in the future, or is just a hobby on the side?
I think it'll probably just be a hobby on the side, especially going into further years after high school. Like I still definitely want to continue doing it, maybe like when I'm an adult or something, which I think is really cool because being like an adult guy ballerina is like pretty sick.
Hmm.
But for now, I'm definitely doing it pretty intensely. Like I think last year, like going up to Nutcracker, which is like the big performance, it was around like 40 hours a week. But
Yikes, that's a lot of
yeah,
practicing.
it was a lot of practicing. But this year is definitely less. But it's still a lot of work. I was the lead role last year, and the lead role the year before. But this year I'm Drosselmeyer, which is like kind of like the father figure in the show. So.
I see. Wow, that must be so fun. In regards to ballet, tell me what's the biggest thing you've ever learned from your experiences with ballet? Has it taught you to be more confident? How does it taught you to, I guess, use your limbs and body more, or what?
Um, so there was a thing that my teacher used to always say that you could always tell when someone was a ballet dancer just by the way they walked, and that was kind of just like um the way you present yourself, right? Like how ballet dancers. But I think for me, because of a lot of the experiences, like I was too scared to go like dance with these people. Like I think I lost more confidence than I gained, like when I was dancing, and that was a lot because of like bullying, whatever. Because like I was the only guy, and it's like a lot of these like ballet studios don't have any guys at all, and so me being the only guy was kind of like weird, almost like because they've never seen a guy do ballet,
Hmm.
and it's pretty normalized like online, but I don't know, it's just kind of weird for me as well and other people. So like making friends was kind of hard, even though like I'm such a social person. Like as soon as I go in the studio, I'm just like completely different person, and I think it lost me confidence originally, but then eventually like I kind of understood like the way I present myself is the way people perceive me. And I think in the end, like I think the experiences with the other people in ballet made me more confident than actually ballet itself.
So from what I understand, ballet presented an obstacle in your life, at least so this bullying, this fitting in, and recently it's something that you've overcome and you've gained a new level of confidence. It probably attributes to your new, I guess, level of confidence and the kind of respect that you carry. Yeah. So I'm glad that ballet did something great for you recently.
Yeah,
Talk to me about beatboxing.
beatboxing, man. I started beatboxing around a year ago, and I just I started beatboxing in sixth grade, but I like stopped for like 2 years because the problem with beatboxing for me is I'm a really social person, right? And so with a lot of like no one else like enjoying beatboxing at all, it's like really rare. I've never met like another beatboxer outside from online, and so getting into beatboxing was really hard because I had no one to do it with. But like 2 years later, after I started, I started again, and I just like could not stop. I would just do it like every day. Like I do it like 3 to 4 hours a day, just like when I can, because it's like so easy to do. Like you can just do it whenever, wherever, and just being able to do it is just so fun because it's like music portable. Like you knew music wherever, and that was just always so cool to me. And seeing these online people have really inspired me. And recently, I've participated in some tournaments online with this group called the BBB. And I, like a few weeks ago, I got first in the intermediate tournament. And then last week, I got second place, vice champion in
Wow.
the tournament. Yeah.
So just 1 year, and you are
Yeah.
already all the way up
Yeah.
there.
I was battling other people
Wow.
who were around like 3 to 4 years of experience. So it was pretty cool to see me do so well.
I think that's, I guess, what the power of being passionate or interested in something is. It's like, because you pursue it on your own and because you like it so much and because you're so talented, you are able to climb way higher and way faster than everyone else. Is this something that you perceive yourself pursuing in the future?
I could see like I definitely want to continue it if I can. There's a tournament called the GBB, which is like the Grand Beatbox Battle, which is like the biggest tournament in the world. I definitely don't want to make it like a career, but like I like it's a dream for mine to go there one day. And I think beatboxing is also so special because I've had like a lot of hobbies in the past. Like I do like Rubik's cubing, drawing, painting, all this stuff. Like there's a lot. I can't remember all of them, but beatboxing was the one that really stuck and the one that I've always been doing because I'd kind of like get good at something and then just stop. But I could never see myself stopping, and especially because I think beatboxing is so hard and it takes so long. There's just so much room to grow. There's never there's nothing, never something I can't stop doing. Like I can always be learning, always be
Mm-hmm.
growing. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's just like always great because I like to learn.
That that is what I love about, like, I guess, mastering something or a lot of skills, is that there is always never enough. There's always more to explore. There's always more to learn. And then when you've reached the limit of what other people can teach you, you can create your own path and you can show people you, like, I guess, your skills, your uniqueness in certain ways. You create a whole path for others to follow. I guess the past few things you've mentioned, ballerina, beatboxing, and you mentioned Rubik's Cube and all those other things. What I've noticed is these are soft expressions of creativity, of, I guess, artisticness. How do you think this plays on you as a person, your personality, your career? Do you think this has any effect on, I guess, reflecting you as an individual?
So for my career path, I want to go into engineering, like with some physics, which is completely different from these these artistic experiences. And I mean, for me, I think they really help. Like I think having artistic backgrounds for engineering and all this stuff is like one of the most important things you can have besides knowing like engineering um, engineering, like
Mm-hmm.
mathematical side and STEM side. Just since because having like artistic experiences means thinking outside the box, thinking um, creatively, and that's pretty much all engineering is. Like you're thinking you're thinking creatively to come up with a solution, and without having like that much artistic background, it's kind of hard to come up with these solutions that are so outside the box that I think having little to none artistic experiences it would be really hard for some of these paths. So I'm really thankful that I have gone towards some of these like beatboxing and ballet, which really show creativity in
I
engineering.
think it's very good that you pursued all these, I guess, artistic, creative aspects of your life. The reason why is because a lot of areas of STEM, especially a lot of areas like engineering, which has a lot to do with innovation, do not put enough importance on, I guess, artistic expression or creativity, because the entire point of, I guess, a lot of engineering, at least a lot of the paths of engineering, is to create new inventions or new solutions for our modern problems. And these are things that are not as easy to think about, but when you start training that part of your brain that is responsible for creativity, for being artistic, it's I think it will make you much more effective at doing your job. So in the future, I think you will do your job way better. So I feel like you have a very diverse skill set that complements each other. On top of that, you're a very sociable person. Talk to me about your. I guess you've mentioned before to me that you think your social skills is your strongest attribute. Talk to me about it.
So, I mean, I've noticed, just like since I was like really young, I would talk to a lot of people. Like I talked to random people on the train when I was really young, just randomly, and I've always like enjoyed talking to people, right? And I never really thought of it as a skill until you said, yeah, until you told me, and you said that it is a skill, and that and like every other skill, like beatboxing and ballet, I can always improve. Like I can always learn, I can always grow, and I've really been trying to push this social skill because not only is it good to be making friends, but I can also make connections. I can also meet new people who I enjoy to be around. And I think for recently, I've been trying to build this skill. And you said there was something I've been doing that I I I haven't been able to identify, like what specifically makes people like me. And I've been really like testing this. Like I like when I meet new people, I try new things. Like um so for example, I had this box of candy, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was giving it out to some people because it was a club that I was in, and I was like an officer or whatever. And so these people, I would give out the candy, and they'll be like, "Oh, thank you." But I could definitely tell if they asked me first for the candy, that they much like they were much more appreciative, and they much like enjoyed the candy way more because it's something that they wanted. And so it's like small things like this, I've just been trying to identify. And it was also because of UCI when we had those reflection times when at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day you'd be like, what is one thing you really liked about other people? And I've really been doing that recently because I think learning like not like it's kind of like learning from your mistakes, but learning from other people as well. Because there's so many smart people around you, so many cool people. And I think just learning from these people is a resource not a lot of people are using.
I'm gonna explain it real quick to our viewers out there or our listeners out there. So, in our gifted and talented program, one thing that we always did at the end of the day is encourage reflection for everyone. Teach everyone how to reflect on themselves and develop their EQ. So, what we asked at the start was, what do we do good today? What do we do bad? Sorry. What do we do good? What do we do not so good? And what could we have done better? And the whole purpose of it is a lot of people go through life just autopilot. You do everything, you never learn anything, and you just constantly go. But if you do this, if you reflect on your actions and something as minuscule or perceived, something that can be perceived as minuscule as giving candy to people, if you can look at it and analyze it and see the purpose behind it and see how people react to different ways that you do perform the same action, you will improve as an individual exponentially. And the reason why is because if you live your life consciously, if you live your life paying attention while others don't, obviously you're going to learn more than other people. Um, in regards to that, I think it's a very, very good, like, what's that called? Understanding, like, I guess you giving people things versus them asking you things. I think it's a very, very good, hmm, like, action that you noticed or a behavior that you noticed. I definitely encourage you to continue going about life, figuring these things out, figuring in. You always start with the micro, then you go into the macro, then you go into like the bigger picture of how your actions affect others. I think it's a very, very good thing that you do, and it's definitely one of the reasons why your social skills are much higher than other people's, because you reflect on your social skills, you understand the repercussions of your actions, and you change accordingly. Yeah. So how do you think, I guess, these skills, these social skills, will affect your professional life?
Oh, definitely very greatly because I mean, connections, first of all, one of the most important things going into a professional life, and being able to build such good connections with my social skills, which would definitely be useful, is one big thing. Also, being able to like I mean, just like ask for a raise is also really like hard to do for some people. And I think is also hard for me, but I think being able to have these social skills, being able to be so extroverted, and use these social skills, I think I can really get an advantage in my professional life using these social skills.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's really good because like then again, I also want to learn like not just in the professional life, but in relation to that is like learning and growing, like I said before, but by being able to like talk to people. And I think like you can't get become a better person, become better at being social if you're not talking to other people, right? If you're just reflecting, it's not gonna do anything for you. And
Yeah.
so just by being able to talk to people professionally, I'll definitely be able to increase my skill socially there as well. So I think that's always a good thing.
One thing that humans can never change about themselves is that we're social animals. Whether introverted or extroverted, we still need some kind of social interaction. I think it's so important that you develop your social skills, because no matter what industry you go into, whether it's engineering, whether I go into psychology, or you just go into something like construction, being sociable, being the kind of people that people like, definitely affects everything in a positive way because people will vouch for you, people will root for your success, and actually are willing to create more opportunities for you to succeed. This is why some people like I heard of many situations where you would work for so much. You would put in your like most of your effort into a job, and someone else who just talks to the manager a lot gets the promotion over you. And the reason why is because you can easily be overshadowed when someone else is, I guess, more sociable than you and can be on like the manager's favor, or like can get the manager's favor. I really believe you should continue developing these skills because in the future, no matter what you do, whether it be getting connections, whether it be, I guess, getting promotions, it will affect you heavily. And just getting people around you to like you will heavily increase your quality of life. And I guess you turning it into, I don't want to say a science, but kind of like a science where you analyze behaviors, you kind of a hypothesis. You're like, hey, I think me doing this would give that result. You test it, and then you think about it, and then you reflect, and then you change your behaviors accordingly. This is kind of like a science. You
Yeah.
approaching this like a science, you approaching this while reflecting and improving is definitely make you like a monster in terms of social skills. All right. Next question. Let me look for a question here. um. Oh, fun one. Okay. So you mentioned earlier that I guess understanding your own confidence, earning respect, and these kinds of things was a significant challenge for you. Can you talk to me about how you overcame these struggles and how you form, I guess, more meaningful friendships, and how has that improved your life so far?
So this comes back to UCI Gaddy again, and it's kind of what you said about being goofy and how that can be like kind of help you in this in getting new friends, getting more mature friends. And so okay, so on the first day of UCI Gaddy, all the visioneers are like the camp counselor like leaders, and they all did like a chant that they learned 10 minutes ago or something, and everyone was kind of just like sitting there in silence like what is going on, like what is this camp, right? And so and so we obviously saw the goofy side of everything, and so same with David, right? He was definitely being really goofy on the first day, like screaming people's names, and it was a fun time. But on the second day, when David walked in and kind of said, like, this is not what we expected, everyone learned to respect him, like, instantly. Like, people's, like, mindset shifted towards David because, we're kind of respecting him way more because we know how, like, nice he usually is, and then we know to the extent of what he can go to and, like, what his boundary is. And so I think using this goofy side to let people, I think specifically let other people with this goofy side be themselves. Like let them be themselves by being yourself to this extent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you get them comfortable uh with who you are, like showing them like if they step over a boundary that they think they can step over, that's when you just go in, right? That's when you show them that you're not scared to not just be this goofy side. And I think wait, what's the question?
How did you overcome it?
How did I overcome it?
Actually, here, let me. You went on a tangent, and let me just explain this because it's a little jumbled up for the viewers. On the first day, when all the, I guess our fellows, our high school kids came to the camp, what happened was at the front, we would perform our team cheers. And it was goofy, it was stupid. And then a lot of the kids were confused. But the purpose of it was we wanted to embarrass ourselves. The reason why we want to embarrass ourselves is that if the kids see these big kids, like all these visioneers are like, so us, we're making ourselves goofy and making ourselves embarrassed. They have nothing to be embarrassed of, and they can be more themselves and more comfortable in the program. But on the what happened is if we did it too much, which I feel like we did a little too much, is that the fellows, so the kids, they feel like they can step all over us, and then they can feel like they they can feel like they can test their boundaries, and that's what kids do, and that's what I did when I was a kid. Even I do now. I feel like it's a very very good thing. It's what I guess smarter or do the genius kids do is that they try to test their boundaries. They try to test what they can and can't do. And what happened was on the second day, David came in and he basically just said, "Hey, you guys aren't taking notes. You guys aren't focusing in class. This is not what I expected of you guys. You guys, we're the part of the gifted and talented group, and we try our best to, I guess, like put in these effort. We have world class lecturers with people that would spend so much effort on these lectures, more than I assume more than they spend on the normal classes. Then you guys aren't showing respect. This is a great chance for you guys, and you guys aren't showing respect." Immediately off of that, people started fearing David. And what you also mentioned at the beginning was that when I said you have to become someone to surround yourself people with that kind of person, is that me and Dylan had a lot of talk about the kind of person he wants to be. And when he stated that to me, we came across the problem. How do you surround yourself with that kind of people? And the reason why is because if you surround yourself with, like, I guess, less than great people, you're going to become a less than great person. The people you surround yourself with have a great influence on you. And basically the conclusion we came to is become the person you want to become, and people like that would start gravitating toward, like, around you or towards you. So back to our initial question, how did you, I guess, attain that kind of self-respect, that kind of confidence, and how does it affect your life now?
I gained this self-respect and becoming who I was from. I'm gonna keep bringing up the UCI Getty program, but it really did. It really did a lot.
That's good to hear.
So we had a lot of talks, right? We talked about like we talked about, like, specifically how to get this self-respect, and I think, like, it's understanding, like, the first of all, understanding the people around you, because at the time I didn't have like the greatest of friends. Like, I was always like the middle guy. I was never like part of like the big inner circle, right? Understanding, like, that this relationship is not like what I want. Like, understanding, like, what you want, which kind of sounds selfish, but like at the end of the day, like, if your friends are not helping you get what you want and you're helping them get what they want, like, it's not like, if they're only getting what they want, it's not a healthy relationship, right? And
Yep.
so, oh, yeah, I was saying.
It's actually super important. Although being agreeable, although being like the kind of person who wants to make everyone happy, is a very valuable trait because it indicates that you're a decent person, that you are humble, and that you care about others. There is a degree of disagreeableness that you need to have to be ambitious. Um, One of the things that I advise you to do is that the people who are holding you back, the people who don't have the same goals as you, may not be as valuable friends. Obviously, some are, but if you surround yourself with only those kinds of people, it will definitely hinder your progress. For me myself, I started surrounding myself with people who want to be great, want to be the best, who are willing to, I guess, spend everything and risk everything to achieve what they want. And recently, my life has been exponentially growing better and better. I become more ambitious. I'm getting more opportunities. And the reason why is because before, I mentioned this a lot, that I didn't used to be, I used to not be like a good person, not used to be ambitious. I didn't used to be all that. And I started surrounding myself with people who are ambitious, and I became way more ambitious. One of the things is I have a friend, and we talk once every like few months, but and a lot of my friends are like that now. And the reason why is because there's no love lost in those few months. We know we all grind. We know we all work hard. We know it's all like a very, very, I guess, the thing that we all mutually understand, that we are all working towards something. So we don't have to every day communicate. We don't have to every week communicate. We can keep each other accountable in a different way. The next time we meet each other, I've done great things, you've done great things. And if one of us didn't, we push each other to move forward.
Yeah, so one thing that was so great about UCI Gaddy was that there was so many amazing people. Like, it was the most amount of, like, geniuses, like social people, all these like really like people who've come with so much experience just all together, and just made me realize who I want to surround myself with, which is kind of what you're saying with the topic of like friends and stuff. And you said you wanted to surround yourself with all these people who push yourself, and being around you for 2 weeks like straight kind of made me realize that I want to push myself. I want to be the best. I want to always like keep pushing myself to just be the person I want to be, because if I'm not, like what was the point the other day?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think this brings a thought to mind. I hear a lot of people, and it's a lot of like, I guess, let's say pessimistic people. They say none of it matters. Everything you do, it doesn't matter, because in the great scheme thing of thing, like the great scheme of things, you don't matter and you're a speck. I think like I'm explaining this because my view is the complete opposite. I think it's a very very flawed view to have, and the reason why is because what's the point of it? If next person like so next time someone comes to you and say, hey, I did this great achievement, and you're like, it doesn't matter because in the grand scheme of things, you don't matter, like or something like that. It's a very unsociable thing to say. I think one thing that I want to pursue is greatness. One thing I want people around me to pursue is greatness, and because if you never pursue for greatness, like if you never strive for greatness, you'll never achieve good. And it's the thing is, if you don't try to be the best at what you do, if you don't try to make every action that you have, every day you have, every moment of your being matter, then obviously you're gonna have, like, let's say depressive thoughts. That's why you're gonna, I guess, tend towards depression. And the reason why is because you don't have purpose. You're like pessimistic purpose and whatever. So I run the complete opposite way. I want to surround myself with, and I want to encourage people around me to be extremely ambitious, to be the people who want to be the greatest in the world. And I guess that's what this whole podcast is about. Is I guess I'm talking to people, I'm interviewing people, and people that I think are going to be the leaders of the next generation. People who are going to be presidents, people who are going to be on the UN, people who I believe, such as you, are going to be great leaders in the future. But yeah, um,
I think not to bring up any movies, but Everything Everywhere All at Once definitely covered this topic. I don't know if you watched
yeah,
it. I love that movie.
I have.
Um,
That is an amazing movie. And the thing is, my girlfriend said this to me, that she would never recommend this movie to anyone except me, because I'm the only person weird enough that would enjoy it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
yeah, I watched it like 4 times, but it definitely covers the topic of nothing matters. Like they bring it up so
Mm,
much, and
mm.
like they say at the end of the movie, okay, nothing matters, but each speck of like each moment does exist, and like if it does exist, like why does it exist? Like if it exists for a reason, then there must be a purpose for you being right there. And I think like having that pessimistic mindset is just kind of an excuse to just not put
Yeah.
in the work, not put in like the time, not put in the effort, and just saying nothing matters is just it's just a way to I don't get I just don't
Mm.
understand, you know?
It's just an attitude that some people have, which leads them towards oblivion. Let's
Yeah,
just say that. I think that's the best way I can phrase it.
yeah.
Um, okay, tell me about your entrepreneurial experiences.
Okay, so there have been like three. So the
What's
first
the
one,
biggest, most important one to you?
most important one to me right now is probably my clothing business, or the one that I'm in with you, Luma Bridge.
Mm.
I think so for the clothing business, I think that kind of helped me because I was learning how to make one myself, and I was kind of pretty much leading that. Like I kind of took inspiration for what we did, and I would be like, okay, we have a meeting, blah blah blah. I would always be making like taking notes, always have like organized documents for all the stuff. And recently I've stopped because of junior year, but I definitely plan to continue this. But for Luma Bridge, I'm an intern, so I'm not like a big part of it. But I definitely have learned a lot from it. Like learning like how different high school is from like actually having like an actual business. Because like a baking business and a clothing business is not like that, you know. But this was kind of like eye opening almost because I kind of see what you need to do to lead, what you need to do to like learn from these leaders as well. Like because especially like if I'm starting a professional career, I'm not close to the top. I need to learn from these people who are at the top, and I'm definitely doing that in these businesses.
Okay. Elaborate more on your clothing business.
Our clothing business is called Route East. Route East, implying going to Asia, and so we bring up a lot of stories from Asia. I got a document for them, such as the rise of Qin Shi Huang, and a lot more of those that I have to remember. But these stories, we post videos on them, in telling people, like introducing them to these ideas because they're so like far from Western culture, I think.
Hmm.
And then we take these videos and make a design out of it, and then publish these clothes. And so we have a connection with the audience because of these videos that we try to make genuine and as like instructional as possible. And then they have a connection to these pieces, and then they'll buy them because they're cool art, hopefully, and
Hmm.
they have cool story behind them.
I think it's really good that you're also taking, I guess, part of your Asian heritage and then for using that to create a business to connect with your other side. Um,
Yeah,
to the listeners out there, Dylan, although he sounds really, really white, he is half what, Dylan?
half Singaporean, half British.
Half Singaporean, half British. Speak a bit of what you know Chinese, right? Speak a bit of Chinese to me.
你好，我叫李凯. There you go.
He spoke fluent Chinese throughout the
I
entire camp, and
not fluent.
I was just wow. But anyways, that's amazing. I'll explain Loomer Bridge a little bit. So Loomer Bridge is kind of it's a startup that me and a couple of friends are doing, and I wanted to invite Dylan. And the reason why I wanted to invite Dylan is because he has this, I guess, very interesting mind that can look at everything from a very, very different point of view. It completely affects my opinion. It completely affects everyone else's opinion. And when he gives us something, we all take it into consideration. The reason why is because he can look everything at he can look at everything in a way that none of us can, and it definitely helps our process of everything. One thing Dylan is also learning from us is how to manage a business, how much work it actually takes to kind of create a whole startup. And I'm not going to go too much into Luma Bridge because I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. But overall, it's just a phone app, and it has a lot to do with teaching the next generation, teaching people the basics of psychology, basics of understanding people, and basics and try to increase the EQ of the average individual or the average user. But next thing, see, this is supposed to be a lot more structured. I have a narrative I'm trying to plan for you, so I have to skip like half of the question. The narrative I'm trying to plan for you. So I want to also talk a little about your academics. Actually, yeah. So we went through a lot of your soft skills, and we went through a lot of your creativity. Talk to me about your academics.
So currently I'm taking what am I taking? AP Physics 1, AP US History, AP Calc BC, Men and Four Honors, which is like the bigger classes. And so for me, even though I pursue all these artistic like ballet, beatboxing and stuff, I still enjoy the STEM. I really enjoy the STEM over the humanities, specifically like AP Calc PC. I'm really enjoying because I think I think really methodically, like I think through things like step by step, and I think I bring that to these artistic like beatboxing and ballet. And as you said, I like when I'm trying to figure out social skills, I make it like a science. And I feel like I want to treat everything like that because I feel like having a structure to everything is great. And having all these classes kind of shows me that almost. Like AP Physics 1, he's really strict about like making us do everything perfectly in order. And that's really taught me a lot. So like on how to structure everything. And so yeah, and then other classes such as AP US history, I'm not a big fan of, but I still enjoy like learning the history, I guess. But
Mm-hmm.
I do specifically enjoy the STEM.
Talk to me about, I guess, what do you struggle with and what do you excel at? What is your favorite subjects? Why is it your favorite subjects? What do you think it teaches you?
Favorite subject, AP Calc BC,
Mm.
mainly because I feel like I'm good at it. Like I do math outside and I enjoy it. And what does it teach me? Probably to be a better like critical thinker and like think about everything from a different angle almost because a lot of the math questions are not just like straightforward like some like a word problem, right? If you think about it one way, you can solve it, but you can always think about it in a different way and solve it faster in like a way outside the box using so many tools you've learned over the years with calc giving you so many more ideas and ways to solve. And I think having that like open box almost is just great to be able to like use all these artistic skills that I have to think outside the box.
I think that's one thing I loved about high school math in particular. One thing that people mention about math is that it's useless in the real world, and the problem is it's not. It heavily increases your IQ and or more so pattern recognition. And the reason why is because, I mean, if you look at high school math, it's the homework is very, very similar to the tests. It's something that what happens is if you repeatedly practice homework, if you do it a lot, you when you do the test, you see the parts of the questions match the homework. And then you can recognize the pattern and then just solve it in that certain way. So I mean, if you look at it earlier levels, it's the same thing, except not as, I guess, complex questions. And then when you go to higher levels, it's harder patterns to recognize. There's more complex questions and stuff like that. It's this thing that heavily, heavily trains your pattern recognition, henceforth IQ. It's something that I actually love. And it's one of my regrets of pursuing, I guess, a soft science human behavior major, which is I don't get to do as much math anymore. I don't get to develop that side of me. And I love that it's something that you are so good at. One thing that I realized is that you're good at creativity, you're good at STEM, or I guess more so academics, and that you have social skills. You have like the trifecta, all three things to help you become successful. I think what you need to develop more is just push all these as far as possible. Tell me about what do you want to be? What do you think you want to be?
So like I said before, I want to be an engineer. I really struggle with specifically. I don't know. Uh, I really like space. I really like. I mean, that was kind of something that I was trying to figure out myself as well. Like, what do I want to be? Like, I have all these like skills, all these hobbies and stuff, and what do I want to do? And more specifically, like, how do I want to change this world? Right? Because to me, like sitting behind a desk and coding, which is what I originally wanted to do going to UCI, was not something that I felt like would make a difference on this world. And yes, it does. But to me, I want to see see what I want to see a change in the world. And so I think that's something I'm trying to figure out. Like, how do I use these this engineering skill and all these artistic and social and STEM skills to really make a change in this world? And that's also why I was sort of went into Luma Bridge and all these businesses. Like, what 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 inspires me to make not what inspires me to make change, but what change inspires me.
Mhm.
And
I
I
think
think
it's yeah, finish.
no, you can go, you can go.
Okay. I think it's actually amazing that you want to pursue all these things, and ever since I guess our gifted talent program, your aspirations have went way higher because you realize, hey, maybe this isn't the impact I want to have on the world. Maybe I want to have something greater. This goes back to my idea where what is this? Okay, this goes back to my idea where when you want to pursue something good, you have to pursue something great. You have to want to be the best. One thing that I've recently done is I've wanted to be the best in, I guess, my field of human behavior. I want to become a psychotherapist. I want to become a psychologist. And I want to be the kind of person who completely revolutionizes it. And while doing that, everything else in my life has increased drastically. I think when you pursue something that big, all these things will start coming to you. Before, like I'd say 2-3 years before, I had nothing going for me. All I did was sit at my computer playing League of Legends. but now, as soon as I just completely changed my mind, completely changed my mindset, I achieved so much in so little time. I think it's actually really, really great. And I'm kind of jealous that you guys have the opportunity now, the opportunity to look at yourself, the opportunity to see the change you want to like enact upon the world, and realize that you can do a lot more than you think you can do. And that way, at an earlier age, and henceforth giving you more potential. So at like an earlier age with more potential, you can change the world a lot more than what other people can do, including me.
Yeah, and I think for me, I know you're Canadian, so it's kind of hard to understand.
Canadian,
But for
yeah.
but for the American people, they understand like junior year is the year. Like I think 60% of your grade, like your everything is based off junior year. Like when you're going to college, and obviously I want to get into college, but I kind of noticed I keep bringing up the UCI program, but after the
No.
UCI program, uh, that I've achieved more this year than any other year, even though this is my most difficult year, my most challenging year. And it's not even just it's not even just like things I've achieved. Like it's not just like the businesses I've gone to. It's more like I've achieved more respect for myself than I ever will. I've achieved more friends than I've the more great friends. I've learned so many more skills than I've ever learned in the hardest year of my life. And it kind of shows that like no matter what's happening, like you if you push yourself hard enough, you can get somewhere even if it's like the lowest of lows or the highest of highs.
Exactly, exactly. When you start determining that, hey, I have potential in this world and I want to make some kind of change in this world, and you start, like, I guess, doing actions, doing things to get there, everything changes. You start realizing you're becoming more ambitious. You start realizing that everything you do starts to matter, and then you change, and then you change, and then you realize, hey, what I did in the past 1 year, committing my mind to improving like at least 1% or at least some kind of commitment every day has compounded so much that thinking like living my life consciously, living my life, I guess scientifically, has impacted my life so well and so much. All right. One thing that you mentioned to me, you mentioned to me your favorite quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson is, "Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail." Explain it to me. I love this quote, by the way, but explain to me how you interpret it.
So originally I found it through beatboxing actually, because so beatboxing is such a new it's so new. It's like every year you can see like the difference in beatboxers and how they're always improving, always making new sounds because like it's I don't know, like 20 years old or something, like really, really new. And so I think one of the beatboxers posted this like in like one of the finals of whatever tournament. And I thought it was great, like, okay, yeah, cool for beatboxers, but like also like I said, I want to make a difference in this world. And so how do I do that? I think I have a really different thought process, like what you said for the business. And I think having this different thought process and having all these skills that I'm like gathering, that I can make, like I can lead my own path. I can
Mm-hmm.
make a new journey for myself and for others who want to follow in the future. And that's definitely something I really strive to do.
You know, I was reading and the other day, my one of my friends, he sends me articles or podcasts that take 3 hours to read or 3 hours to listen to. And although they're long and although they're grueling, they completely changed my perspective on everything. So this one was how to do great work. And the whole point of this is to do great work, there are a few things that you have to do. You have to find something that you love. You have to find something that you are more or less willing to do, willing to spend an atrocious amount of time on, and willing to put everything into. You have to develop a mastery in that kind of area. And then when you develop a mastery in that area, you have to start putting in effort to either improving something that is already there or creating your own path. I think that's very, very beautiful that you can do great work by creating your own path in whichever field that you have a mastery in. I think what you're in the process of right now is either finding something that you love because you have so many things going for you. But when you find one big thing or like a few big things, just as long as you don't spread yourself too thin and develop a mastery in those things, you can start leaving a trail. I think it's such a beautiful quote.
Did you have to send me that podcast after this?
it's a it's like a 1 hour long article, but I will send you it.
Perfect.
You know
Thank you.
what? For the viewers, I will put it in the description as well. Hopefully there's no legal implications. But so there's just one really unique thing that I heard from you. You said that one of the most impactful experiences for you was playing baseball with a PVC pipe. That's weird. Explain it to me. That
Okay.
is such a cool thing.
So it was 7 p.m. No, it was 9 p.m. at night. All my friends had finished studying, and we just went onto the field and we found this PVC pipe and we had a baseball and we just started playing base. We just started playing baseball, right? And we completely shattered the PVC pipe. Like, oops. But it was a lot of fun, and it wasn't the experience of just playing baseball or whatever. It was literally like it was the moment of realization, the turning point, that I realized that I had found some good people. I had found some people I wanted to be around, and this was after the UCI program, and after I kind of like realized like who I wanted to be around, and so I think this is a really special moment for me because it was a struggle that I'd been really having trying to find these people that I really like, and once this moment hit, once I like felt happier than I had felt around any friends I've had before, then I realized like this is where I am, this is where I'm supposed to be.
You know, I love having those kinds of friends as well. And I'm just gonna assume because you didn't actually explain what kind of people these friends are. Yeah, let's start with that.
So first of all, they they're well, first of all, really fun, right? I like the friend I was in before was pretty much only study all day, do homework all day, not have any fun, and then they'll like do well in tests. Like they're really smart, really smart people. But
Hmm.
like for me, like I obviously want to study, obviously want to get better, but like, you know, being able to like do something fun is always great. And a few select people in this group really pushed me, really like I took inspiration from like what you said, like finding people around you to push yourself, and they've helped me. We've stayed up super late, coming up with ideas, not even just studying, like we just like growing as people up till really late. And I think all these people just like being surrounded by have been great. And playing baseball at the park is obviously like fun and all, but I think it just goes beyond like just having fun with these people and being able to like push yourself, like you said. And I feel like I still I want to meet new people who push me even further as well. But I'm happy to be here and happy to have these people who wanna push me and be with me on this.
You know, one of the things that I it made me think about is that there's this kind of a lot of people say this when you're around people, don't talk too much. And the reason why is because if you talk too much, you might say something bad or you might say something wrong, or your words might not carry as much meaning, and then you no longer seem intelligent. Well, I actually completely disagree with that. I think when you're around people, especially people that you trust, so I guess you're friends with the PBC pipe, is you got to talk a lot, and you got to talk about all your ideas, all your theories, everything that you can possibly think of. And the reason why is because this is how I believe the most amount of development, character development, and as well as great work can be done. Where you talk and bounce ideas off each other, where you can refine your more delusional ideas, and where you can, I guess, set in stone your more proper ideas. This is where you can realize like you can compare who you are to someone else and take the good parts out of both of them. I hate the people who refuse to have a conversation, the people who they have their opinions are so I guess set in stone that they can't debate, they can't have an intellectual conversation about. And the people who aren't open to the fact that they might be wrong. I think I had a lot of fun conversations with you, and there was a lot of fun disagreements. And the reason why is because you made me smarter, and hopefully I made you smarter or more wise. This is
Yeah,
something that
I
I want
did.
everyone to be able to do. Is it doesn't matter what your opinion is, it doesn't matter what your stance is on everything, as long as you're open to changing your opinion, as long as you're open to having a full-on conversation or debate with someone or whoever you want about every opinion that you have. This is how you become great. This is how you become intellectual, and this is how you define or I guess develop all of your ideas. And then later on, this is the same process that lets you do great work, where you bounce your ideas, where you bounce your I guess theories or innovative projects off of people. They criticize it, they fine tune it. You guys make it better.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Like I think being willing to learn is like a skill on its own. Like being able to like understand that you're not the smartest person ever and that you can always be better. And I think this was kind of easier for me because I was a people pleaser, so I wouldn't like I would kind of be pessimistic towards myself, like, oh, I'm never gonna be good enough and whatever. And like I like obviously now I know that I can be good, I can be great, but having this mindset of like, oh, I can always learn is really important because there's so many great people around you, and people who just cut off these people because they don't agree with them or that they're better than everyone else is baffling because like how can you think you're better than everyone else when there's so many great people in this world?
Mm-hmm. And the best part is to this day, um, most people still don't know what is like the right opinion about literally every single subject out there. I think one very I heard this from someone, but it was a very wise piece of advice. People who are super set in stone on one opinion, never listen to them. It's very important to listen to the person in the middle who is educated about both sides of any opinion and who is able to provide you with the proper context, provide you with the proper like lack of bias about every single topic. I think that is like where most people want to be, where I also want to be in every debate. Because when you look at every debate, both sides usually, and this isn't like it's not always, but usually have some kind of point, have some kind of flaws as well. And it's more so your own personal experiences that impact your stance on every single opinion or every single topic. Um, let's move on to the next question. What is in store for you for the future? That's a fun one.
Okay. I really want to become a visioneer at the UCI Gaddy program because I want to make a change like you made for me. And if I can be a result of someone changing this much and inspire as much growth as I did, I think the world will be such much of a much better place since like I think I could change the world. And if I can make so many other people think that they can change the world, like imagine how much better of a place this could be. And I think that's just amazing for the UCI
Mm-hmm.
Yeti program just to have that.
That's actually why I put so much effort when I was in that program. And I think everyone there probably will agree that I went overboard. For the listeners out there, to let you know how much like what I did to change these kids, um, just as a start, a lot of them, including Dylan here, a lot of the kids woke up with me, and then we have to get to class around 9, and we have to finish breakfast beforehand. So people usually woke up at 8 a.m. We woke up at 4:30 or 5, and we all ran 3.5 miles to like 3 to 4 miles. So like for Canadians, because I'm Canadian, a 5K, and then we did a big workout, and then that was like, and then we went to breakfast before everyone else even woke up. And then when we went to breakfast before everyone else woke up, I had my entire group research all the professors, come up with questions that you want to ask the professor, and just get the most out of every opportunity. One thing that I wanted to teach was that this is an experience that I wish that I had when I was younger. And because of that, I will make it as valuable as possible for the people I'm responsible for. So Dylan here, he suffered because he had to wake up with me 5 a.m.
Willingly, willingly.
willingly. So it's not suffering. It was character development at 5 a.m. and just like become very disciplined. I don't know if this is who you were, but maybe it makes you break out of your shell. Maybe it didn't. I don't know. But it just pushed you so far. And I mean, I can see right now. One thing I love about working out is that what happens is at the beginning of the day, you set yourself a goal. Hey, I'm gonna go to the gym. Hey, and for us, it's like we're gonna run 3 to 4 miles, and then after that, we're gonna do a big workout. So you set yourself a goal at the beginning of the day, and then when you accomplish it, and you're repeatedly accomplishing it every single time you set this goal, you kind of give yourself a confidence, and that's what you develop that over time as well. Confidence because you gave yourself something hard to do, and you did it over and over and over again. You start trusting yourself. You start, I guess, understanding yourself and being more like feeling more reliable, someone that people can rely on more because you're able to do this. On top of that, you start your day with accomplishing something so tough, so grueling, waking up way before everyone else, working harder than everyone else, getting the most out of every opportunity than anyone else. When you have a different view or outlook on this than everyone else, you're gonna do better. And you know what's the best part? Everyone else that I'm talking about is the top of the top. These are the most genius kids, the most disciplined kids who went through multiple stages of interviews. Was the top. I think we had an acceptance rate of around 8% or something.
8%.
Yeah, 8% was the top of the top, and you had to be the best, and you had all of the top of the top. And I think that's something that definitely contributed to who you are now. At least the confidence that you have now. Just going through all these things, going through these grueling things, and you know what? Succeeding and excelling every single time. Yeah.
There was once. Am I allowed to name drop? Like it's for good.
Okay. Wait. Who?
Krishnov.
Go. Yeah. He'll say yes.
There was one student called Krishnov, and really he really inspired me to like not even be more social, like be more active. I want to say not like active isn't like running, but like taking initiative. And so for example, first day, right? This guy in our group, he's really nice. He's really chill. But I see like during I think dinner or lunch, yeah, dinner. There was like a bunch of kids playing Brawl Stars, and I just saw like him just being like, "You're here. Why are you here if you're just gonna be playing Brawl Stars?" And I'd see him go up to you and just start talking to you, and I'm like, "Dang, wait, he's gonna get closer to you, and I wanna be closer to these people." So I was kind of like almost competing at this point to be able to talk be able to talk with you and get to know you, and then get to know everyone else. And he'd always do this. Like for the first lecture, he'd go to the front of the class, and I'd be like, why are you going to the back? If you're gonna be the best, you got to go to the front. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's go to the front. And he'd be taking notes, and I'd also take notes. And because we were like one of the only few students, and he really showed me like, dang, like I need to do this. And then he was also one of the people who inspired me to start running. Besides you, obviously, running the morning, because like he's doing this. Like I want to be just as great as him, and like I could definitely tell like he wanted to be great. And so being able to like follow through all these experiences, and like especially with David made us write these like 300 word
Summaries.
summaries of the lectures, and I would spend like hours after class in this room, and we would just he would help me write, and I'd kind of help him write, and he'd show me like the thought process he goes through, and he was a great inspiration throughout the whole entire program. And so thank you to
Yeah. He was actually our guest on last week's podcast.
oh
But that's one thing I loved about him, and that's one thing I love that he taught you guys is that, I mean, for the people who came to camp, or even honestly, like the listeners here who go to school and instead of learning, all you guys do is play Brawl Stars or at least whatever kids do these days. You're wasting an opportunity, and especially for when we come to our camp, it's like you put so much effort just to be there at the camp. And what you're gonna do instead of taking advantage of every opportunity, instead of talking to people who are like the visioneers, it's not easy to become a visioneer, right? People who worked really hard. Sorry, where was I going? Instead of taking this opportunity to connect and talk to people who are more knowledgeable or like, let's say, more wise and who can provide you a lot of insight on their particular majors or professions, instead of doing all that, what you do is you sit there and play Brawl Stars or kind of waste this opportunity. It is definitely not the way to go about it. And the thing is, so many people do it. And this is something I heavily discourage is you have so much time. You only have so much time in your day. And yes, it's important to relax, but it's also important that when you are supposed to be doing work, when you're supposed to be grinding or taking advantage of opportunities, that you do so, that you do put the effort, and that you do not go on your phone, start scrolling Instagram, playing Brawl Stars, and wasting your time. Because then what's the point? What's the point of anything if all you're going to do is screw around, if all you're going to do is put very little effort into your success? I think what I have, when I wake up in the morning right now, sometimes I wake up at 6, sometimes I wake up at 8, I go to the gym or I do a 10K run. And then afterwards, I am in grind mode all the way until around like 2 hours before I sleep. And then only 2 hours before I sleep, I start relaxing. I can let myself game. And like that way I have a system where when I am grinding, I can't game. I can't waste my time. I do the most and I do it really, really effectively. And then I allow myself to rest after accomplishing all this as like kind of a reward. I think it's so important for you guys to have that as well, that when you're supposed to be learning, don't game. It's something that bothered me so much, and I just kept lecturing you guys about it.
yeah. Something I kind of just realized that is kind of like a different topic.
Mm-hmm.
Along the social skills, like the question once again was what do you think specifically that helps you? And I think I don't know if it's the exact thing that you're thinking of, but one thing that really makes me think of is that when I go into these conversations, I'm thinking of the person as someone who's smart, someone who's intellectual, such as Krishna, and I will want to learn from them. And with that, they can really see, they have a sixth sense. They can know like this guy like respects me and wants to learn. And I feel like I respect everyone until like I don't. It's not like I don't respect everyone until I do. And I think with that they can really tell, and they can really like I'm really genuine as well. So being able to use all these skills, they can tell that I'm being genuine, and they'll like me more since I'm more like willing to learn from them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's that kind of humility or humbleness combined with ambition that I'd say a lot of entrepreneurs love. The fact that you take initiative, you go up to them, and you want to learn as much as possible. And on top of that, you aren't egotistical, you aren't cocky, and you acknowledge, especially as a student who is super young, you acknowledge that they have so much to give you and so much to teach you, and you try to get the most out of that opportunity. Every single time that you've done that, and I see you guys do that, and every single time I've done it in the past, it's always worked out really well. I think it's such a great attitude to have on things as long as you have a good balance. And for you especially, someone who excels socially and has a lot of social skills, it's definitely gonna make your opportunities way higher and make your ability to connect with them and their willingness to teach you way, way higher. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
so back to I guess the beginning of this question, and you mentioned that you want to become a visioneer. What skills, I guess, what makes you want to do it and what makes you think that you'll be good at it?
So I was in a nonprofit called Dance Develope where they taught underprivileged kids ballet. And one student I saw, he was a young boy around like 9, and he was the one boy in his class. And I saw him and I just instantly thought of myself as him. Like that was me, however many
You
years ago when I
empathized.
started. Yeah, exactly. And so I didn't want this kid to like stop doing ballet because ballet is so awesome and it's so fun. And you could tell he really enjoyed ballet, but also you could tell he was really awkward around everyone because he's the only guy, and there was what like 20 other girls. And so I wasn't like specifically only talking to him, but I definitely tried to like inspire him. I definitely tried to like be more social with him because I know I can empathize with what he's going through. And I inspired him, and now he had 3 things he was doing. He was doing like taekwondo, ballet, and like something else, and he quit all the other ones for ballet. And he's now part of like one of the bigger schools with like a scholarship and stuff. And I
Wow.
think it was because I inspired him so much that he did this. And I think that was so great to feel. So amazing that now I want to do that with other skills besides ballet, such as being a visioneer.
I think that's actually a really good quality to have as a visioneer. And it's, or I guess as like a mentor overall in every part of life, it's that the ability to see who needs you the most. I remember when I was a visioneer and some people, not always in our group, but some people wouldn't fit in or wouldn't, I guess, excel as much in the environment because of their own personal reasons. I always saw myself in them because I was always the person who had trouble and usually the person who was bullied in school as well. So I saw so because of that, I paid way more attention to them and I put a lot of effort into them because the people like you, no offense, actually it's not offensive, but people like you excelled in that environment, which means I can just let you do your own thing. You will get the most resources. You already take initiative, so I don't have to pay as much attention to you. I have to pay attention to people who don't do as well, who struggled a little. I think when you come into this program, hopefully, um, you will be able to do the same thing whenever you have a mentorship in the future as well. You will do the same thing to other people where you will focus on people who need you the most and you will help them excel in these situations and learn the most. I think it's just such a valuable thing that you have right now.
I think something else that really inspired me to keep learning was when I was at the nonprofit. I I was not like part of the group because this was kind of like the ballet school that I was not like comfortable in. I wasn't like I didn't have many friends, right? And so the people I worked with weren't like they pretty much never talked to me, right? And so being able to so when I inspired these students, right, I didn't think too much of it until at the end of the school year, we have a thing where we vote like the best teacher who like inspired, and not just from the students, but it's also from the parents because the parents usually sit there and watch. And I think like 80%, like a lot of the votes were all for me because I think I inspired so much change and so much in all these students, and I think that kind of showed that like I could do this, like I could inspire change in other people besides for myself, right? And so again, that's why I want to be a visioneer because I want to do that way more, and that's just like amazing to me.
Wow. So you have the qualities of a humble leader. You have a lot of artistic skills in beatboxing, in ballet. You have academic skills because you're taking a lot of AP courses and you're excelling at them as well. And you're a very sociable, extroverted individual. I genuinely am excited, and this might be a little ambitious to see where you're going to be in a few years. And if I can invite you back on this podcast, if this podcast survives all those years,
Yeah,
I
see what I
think
got in those
it's,
years.
I really want to see because you have all the skills necessary and not just like net baseline, like you're excelling at all the skills necessary to become someone who definitely can be the future leader of a world that we live in. Yeah.
Yeah, dang.
Wow. It was honestly great having you here today.
Yeah, it's
It
great
was a
being here.
pleasure. It was a pleasure
Yeah,
talking to you, and
nice
just
talking to you
kind of
every day. Every time I
every
talk to you,
day.
every time I talk to you, I feel like way more inspired. Like I don't know how to put it, but that's
Thank you,
genuinely that's how I feel.
thank
It's
you.
it's amazing.
It's something I try to do, but I actually love that you share your journey and you were kind of vulnerable. You're talking about your negative experiences as well as the positive. And you showed our viewers, especially some who might not be doing to it like as good, who might need this kick of inspiration or influence. You helped them a lot. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for coming today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It was great.
Wow, that was an amazing one, guys. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Thanks for listening and walking through with us how Dylan became more confident and listening about his soft skills, his creativity, his how artistic he is, and on top of that, how well he excels at academics despite all this. See you next time.